All right, so we've got a customer that needs some stair treads made, and I'm going to try to show you how to lay them out. So he's got a chicken coop that is 24 inches up off the ground, and he wants the stair jacks to come out 48 inches from his chicken coop out this way. And then he wants the first step to come down. He doesn't want his first step open or even right here with the top of the chicken coop. He wants it to come down. So after doing the math, I figured out that basically it's going to take 6 steps that are 4 inches tall. So the 6 times 4 would be 24. So that gets you to the top of his chicken coop. And so your rise is going to be 4 inches. And in order to come out close to 48, we need the run to be 9 1/4. So now I'm going to show you how to lay this out on the actual board. Action. Okay, so we're getting ready to mark out this jack on the board. So like I showed you, we know that we want our rise to be 4 inches. So on the square, I've connected this at 4 inches, and then we want our run, this part, to be 9 1/4. So I've attached this at just a little bit bigger than 9 1/4, because you'll see when it touches the board like this, my line is actually going to end right here at 9 1/4, and that's what I want. So we're going to mark this out. So the way that we start is I'm going to take this up to the front, and I'm going to mark this first line right here, and that's going to be this part of the jack right here. So take this up, pull this back until both of those hit. Like I say, my first line is the very top step of my jack, which is right here. Okay, then what you do is you just move this down. There's our line. You move your square down until your rise mark lines up at the end of your run mark, and then you go down like this, and then across like that. So you can see what we're starting to do here, and we're going to keep doing this. We need five of these steps. So this would be 1 and 2 right here. So we're going to continue the same exact pattern all the way down. Hold that. Mark that. Slide down. Once again. Here. I think we've got to do it one more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5 of them. Okay. Okay, so we've gotten this marked out, but now we need to bring this line down and this line down. So the way that we do that is you just take the square and you can line up one edge like this with the line like that, and then just mark across like this. So when we cut this, we'll be cutting that off and going down like that. Then we need to do the same thing, make a mark across here. So I'm going to line up this line with the square, like about like that, and then mark this. Okay. We're at the very bottom of our jack, so we're at this part right here. And since our rise is 4 inches each time, we need to make a mark for 4 inches down here. So 4 inches is right here on my square. And again, my square is just lined up with these lines. So I made a mark here at 4. I'm going to bring that across here. get that square. And bring this line across. Okay, so that part would get cut off. So this is the start of our jack, and there's step number 1, step number 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th step up is right here, because like I said, the customer wants his first step to be down. So the last step up would be up from here. This connects right here to the front of his chicken coop, and then he'll have one more step that goes up to the top. Okay, now one last thing on this is, depending on what the person's going to use for their tread, so in this case he's going to use 2x, you have to cut whatever the thickness of the tread that he's going to use off the bottom of your jack right here. Reason being, you need it to be a 4-inch rise every time. So when you add your tread on like that, if you're going to have 1.5 inches thickness in your tread, then you need to cut 1.5 inches off the bottom of this jack. That way it's still 4 inches from the ground to the top of your tread, and then it'll be 4 inches from there up to the top of this tread, and so on. And it's confusing at the beginning, but just trust me. So whatever the thickness of your tread is, if it's a 2x, then that means it's going to be 1.5 inches. You need to cut 1.5 inches off the bottom of this tread, which I'll mark out and show you how we do that, and then everything will come out all right. If you have a tread that's only going to be 1 inch thick, you only cut 1 inch off of the bottom. Whatever the thickness of your tread is, that's what gets cut off the bottom of your jack. Alright, so this is the bottom of our jack. Like I said, he's going to be using a 2x, which is 1.5 inches thick, for his tread. And so I'm going to cut 1.5 inches off the bottom of this. Now, the smaller arm of your square is 1.5 inches wide. So I'm just going to lay this and mark. I got my line lined up on this side and this side, that means I'm square. And then mark this off right here, and then mark that out. I know I need to cut this off. So the part that I'm going to keep is this, and then when he puts his 1.5 inch tread on there, we'll have a 4-inch rise from the ground up to the top of that tread, and then every tread after that that's put on keeps that rise the same, 4 inches all the way up, and that's what we want. Alright, so I got the jacks cut out now, and I just wanted to show you something real quick. If you're looking at these jacks and you look down here, it's like, whoa, he must have screwed up, because that one's not nearly as tall as these are. And I just wanted to show you this because it's kind of confusing at the beginning. But remember, I told you you've got to cut 1.5 inches off this bottom if you're using 1.5 inch tread. So I just want to show you. This is going to represent your tread. All right, so if your tread's going to go on here, and then you're going to have a tread on every step after that, so that'll represent that tread. If you look at this, we want a 4-inch rise for every single step. So we've got it here, and I'm just a tad under 4 right there, but basically we've got our 4-inch rise from the ground up to this first step, and then from there you'll step here, and again you have that same 4-inch rise. Okay, so, and that's going to continue all the way up. So you've got a tread on each step. Once again, 4-inch rise. Got another step here, 4-inch rise, and it's going to continue that way all the way up to the top. So hopefully that helps clear up if somebody's kind of confused about why this one is always going to be shorter than the rest of them. It's because you're making up for that first tread, because you're coming off the ground and you want all of your steps to be the same going up. You don't want one tiny step and then a whole bunch of other ones that are the same. That's why the store-bought treads or the store-bought jacks sometimes are kind of jacked up. Nope. Well, I didn't mean to throw a pun in there, but anyway, because they're all cut, you know, just like this, the whole thing. And then you just have to cut it off where it fits. That's why sometimes you'll go somewhere and if something wasn't custom cut for your height, then one of the steps, either the bottom one or the top one, ends up being different than all the others. But when you're custom cutting jacks like this is the way you make all of your steps the same height. So hopefully that helps. Thanks.